Okay, just let me know when I do. Okay. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to The Wars to Come. You have your host, as always, Jesse Carpenter, and we have some of my co-hosts with me today, but it's going to be a fun episode. We have Mr. Alejandro. How's it going, Alejandro?
Holy shit, we started on time. What?
Yeah, that's never happened.
What
ever
in the world is happening?
Ever. I was ready to go 15 minutes before.
Wow.
So, yeah, CT, how's it going, buddy?
I'm fine-ish.
Yeah, everyone is sick from Thrones War, or most people I talk to, so I am as well. But we do have another co-host. We have Mr. Aaron Groth. How's it going, Groth?
Good. I didn't get sick, so I'm doing well.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm Aaron
Shots
Groth.
fired.
I'm healthy.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I'm healthy.
I had to share a shower
Drink orange juice,
and
kids.
dinner and
Vitamin
beer
C,
and
kids.
food with 30 other people in the last weekend. Look at you.
Sorry about our faces. I know Buzz is working hard to get those fixed. But yeah,
Best
so we do
opener
have.
ever. Sorry.
We do
about
have
sorry about
a.
my face.
Yeah. I mean, either way, we should always apologize for our faces on this cast.
That's fair. For sure.
So we do have. So we've got to keep it to an hour and a half today. So Buzz has something to do in an hour and a half. So we have to keep it to an hour and a half. But we have fun things. We want to do a little Thrones War recap. So some exciting things happened over the weekend in San Diego. We were all there. It was really fun. Just one of the best times of the year. We're going to do some restricted list talk, and that restricted list talk is going to lead us right into some of our thoughts and feelings leading into the draft for my name day this Sunday. So a lot of exciting things. So since we don't have that much time, we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about Thrones War. So first of all, I do want to go ahead and step forward and congratulate Sid and Buzz. They put together a very, very strong team. I believe they had a $2 player go 7-0. Just insane. Target cards are good. And then they also had good decks. Who would have guessed that? So
they just rolled the whole tournament. There was so many of them in the cut. It was insane.
It was real gross. So my deck had a really bad matchup against Targ, and Greyjoy was my second hardest matchup. I would say Martell would be my third hardest matchup. I looked at the cut, and it was 8 Targ, 7 Greyjoy, and like 1 Martell, and I was like, not good for me, buddy. So I do want to thank. I do want to, congratulate Sid and Buzz. It was a really strong performance. Like I never once thought that anyone else had a chance after round 1. Like even after it was tied, even after it was tied for a couple rounds, I was just like, oh god, it's just disgusting.
They rolled us in round 1. It felt real bad.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Mira. She took down the whole tournament. Team Martell.
Yep.
She beat
Mira.
Yeah, she beat Targ in the finals to keep them away from the sweep, which was awesome.
She almost went undefeated on the day. She had a really, really good day. Had a really good record. She's been playing that deck for a long time. It's a really strong deck that originated out of the likes of like Colt and CT, and a lot of those people started putting it together. I think Andres and them did. It's come through so many iterations. It's been strong for a year now. So, literally since the Martell box last year. Yep. So, congratulations to her. It's not an easy tournament to win. It's hard. It's hard to tech against 7 other houses. But, yeah, that was awesome. Anything else interesting we want to touch on for Thrones War?
I do want to talk about some. One thing that comes to mind was like the team Night's Watch. Not like last year, the Builders team just went off, and that did not happen this year. I don't know if you have any ideas. Like if you guys have any ideas as to why, but I thought that was super interesting.
Not enough cohort.
Maybe, yeah. Builder decks. They lost to like some stuff that I wasn't expecting them to. Maybe like the prevalence of Sea of Blood was a problem for them.
Sure.
I know that we did really well against them.
Anyway. Johnny crushed me. He set up
Martin
Duped Wall, and
went
he was
8
just
and
like, nah, I'm
3.
fine.
We did really well against him, which I wasn't really expecting. But I was just shocked by how.
So I was expecting Nightwatch to do well just because I think Builders is still really good, and there were some Builders players who did do well, but but I think to do well they had to tweak things. Like Johnny did well because his deck was incredibly different. Like he hit me with like fortified position into barring the gates, and like at that point I couldn't turn it around because Starry Step was just like milk on demand. Like it was just a different Builders deck I hadn't seen before, and it was very interesting. He also got 3-Finger Hob on setup, and that's a card if no one knows what that card does. But you just get an extra draw face. It's pretty great with no with no reserve penalties. So I'm not sure. I would love to. I think maybe they're just being more controlled now. And I think a lot of times Builders might be one of those, and I'm in no way saying this is what happened, but I have seen this happen before where like people just think Builders is like such an easy, like brain dead deck to play that like they don't need that many reps. And like it is not in any way whatsoever. Every game is a super grind. Even games you win, you're not expecting to win in under 50 minutes. And it's really tough, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to me that going into the draft, like Team Tar or the House Targ and House Greyjoy were both like very clearly ahead of the rest of the pack, and Stark was right behind them. And two of those seemed to play it out in the tournament, and one did not. What do you guys think happened there?
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
That going into the draft, Team Targ or Greyjoy, House Greyjoy and House Targ and House Stark were all like the top 3 factions.
Yeah.
At least that seemed to be the thoughts going in. And two of those kind of bared out and came true, and one of them didn't. What do you guys think about what happened there?
I said Stark was going to do bad, but nobody believed me.
I disagree with that statement. I think everyone but Team Stark thought they were gonna do bad, CT. So it's not get out of hand.
I guess I only talk to the people on Team Stark, so because they just won't stop talking themselves up.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
What was the idea of making everyone do the same style deck? Well, most people do
on the
same
spot,
style
Jesse
deck.
Carpenter.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know.
I'm not the king.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you gotta push everybody to play that stupid fucking Fat Cat deck.
So I'm just putting it out there. Do you think that could have been a factor?
I didn't force anyone to play anything.
No,
we were all
forcing.
from the beginning. We were all from the beginning. I brewed a lot of decks. I had people test a lot of decks. I think it really hurt us that I saw success with the deck, and Bohan saw success with the deck, and Platt saw success with the deck, and then Roy saw success with the deck. Sandy saw semi-success with the deck. So there are tons of other really, really strong Stark decks, and I think we had those builds. Honestly, it was just people wanted to play it. They were interested. It was winning, and it didn't. The agenda restrictions didn't matter really, and I think that I pushed people to get reps, and I think some of our players did for sure. I think it culminated to be. I think it culminated to just be people. I think people were expecting it, so everyone knew how to play against it, and I don't think we knew how to play against everything.
That is something that's super interesting, because you're right that like the Fat Cat deck got so much talk before the tournament, and it was on everybody's radar.
Everyone knew it, and we weren't quiet about it. Like, people knew I was winning, and I wasn't like oh, it's just a good Stark deck. No, it's a Fat Cat deck. It's gross. Like,
Jesse's not super quiet about the decks he loves. That's for sure.
Yeah, and like, and we thought that it might come down to having a target on our back, and it's not, and I don't think that's what it was. I don't think people specifically teched for it. Now, a couple people did, like all the Midwest people, for the most part, did because they had just gotten beat by the deck over and over. But I think it was just everyone knew how to play against the deck. The list was out there, and we did not have the reps against every house, so we weren't prepared. And I think that shows that people think that's a brain dead deck too, and it is not in any sense of the word. I had the most reps with the deck, and I was the only one that made the cut with it. I think that goes to show that it's just a tough deck to play, and if people are killing your stuff, you got to know which stuff to sacrifice and what not to. So, but no, I mean, I want to thank Roy for being my king. I really did have a blast being on Team Stark. I wish we would have ventured out more, but I just think a lot of players who had never done the War format or even had just saw that the deck had success and wanted to play it. And we weren't.
I definitely didn't bring up that question like as a target against you guys.
No.
I just thought it was super interesting.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I wish we would have performed better. I will 100% say that Stark is pre-restricted list. Stark is better than a bottom 3 house. I think we spent the correct amount of money on it. Stark is that good, in my opinion.
Yeah. So
sometimes you just come up short. It's a bummer. No one wants to be in the bottom houses at these war style events, but it just happens. It sucks. But our bad matchups we got hit really hard with, like real bad.
On the flip side of that question, what do we think about Greyjoy and Targ just like doing really, really well, despite everybody also knowing everything that they're gonna do? Like,
so I think Greyjoy interests me a little bit more than Targ. Just for the simple fact of like, I thought Targ's draft was really strong, and I thought their decks were just the best. Coming out of House Greyjoy, I have a lot of respect for Dustin Andrus, but I knew that they weren't playing Drown God. I wasn't really sure what they were going to play, and they really surprised me at how just strong their decks were. Vaxia Blood deck was really interesting. It was really good. I mean, Andros, Vac, and they had a ton of good players, but Andros, Vac, and Dustin just rolled.
Yeah.
Like they just crushed. And they weren't long games. I felt like I just saw them all the time. Like not as much as I saw Emma. I didn't think Emma played games half the games. I swear. Every time I looked around, Emma was walking around going to see where Z was playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, Landing Crossing is still that busted, huh? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, at least, plot. He'd be done with plot 1, and she'd be going, "Hey, I'm done."
Yes. Yeah. So,
part of the Greyjoy thing is super interesting to me is that they had like a lot of diversity in the decks, right? Like they had different Balons in each deck, different Ashas that like just fit the agendas that they were playing. Which I thought was really cool and something that it's probably harder to do, but they did it really well.
Agreed.
And the Targ decks were all just busted. So
here's the crazy part is that Buzz's Targ deck was by far and away the most fair Targ deck there.
Yeah, for sure.
I think most of it was just like people. I mean, Buzz is also a great player, but like people just didn't know what to do against like a lot of Buzz's cards. Like there were just a lot of really good meta calls, like no attachments cards, like double trade routes, just seeing more. Double coppers, just seeing more cards than people. I mean, he beat me in plot 1, like plot phase 1. I set up Rickon and Bran. I turned into air. And he played Blood of the Dragon, and I just got blew out.
I thought that the list that he was that he was playing was super interesting. But if I had to guess, he just outplayed most of his opponents. Like that's just the way it worked. Yeah, I don't know. Those are things that jump out to me. Team Barra being stacked with players, but still like just not being able to do anything. Was like it's
next though. Didn't see no Barra Faye Milton, right? No low curve Barra Neal.
No.
Bear was there.
I was playing Spec, and it was a good game, I thought. But like I kept playing around stuff, and I just kept being like, oh, do you have this to blow me out? Do you have this to blow me out? And like it came down to it that like Bear just doesn't have the cards to blow you out. Like there just wasn't something there for me to be waiting for. But no, I think it's upsetting that Bear is that bad. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe things change with the restricted list.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on Thrones War? I thought it was great. A lot of fun. I probably would take a year or two off from being a regent, if maybe longer. We'll see. It's very exhausting.
Sure.
But I had a lot of fun. Tons of fun.
No, just congratulations to everyone who made the cut or who came out, participated in the team tournament. It's like so much fun. We're getting ready to spend the rest of our episode talking about another team tournament. But it all originated with Thrones War. It was a really good time. Very, very good time. Anyone else? Groth, CT?
No, I'll definitely second that. Thanks to the Joneses. Thanks to everyone who was there. That was my first one, and probably be my last. But I had a great time. It was a blast, and the brewery was amazing. The location was location.
Yeah.
I think you set the tone from last year with the having yours at the bar. That was awesome.
Yeah, so. I like to drink. And I did sniff out the cheapest beer in the establishment pretty quick with the help of Trey also. And boy, did I take advantage of those $3 cans, boys. It was, what do you got there? That looks fancy. No, this is the cheapest beer they have in this place. They don't even advertise it. It's called the German Pils. It was sweet. So let's move on. It's going to be a combined discussion. We're going to be talking about the restricted list and my name day tournament held here in Wausau. Real quick shout out: if you are listening to this and you are not signed up, sign up. You still have 2 days left. We are at numbers that I never expected, for sure. It is exciting and scary all at once, but we are doing it again in a small town. I think right now with the Kings we are at 90 players.
What's the fire marshal think of that?
we could hold, baby. We can hold, and I think Gen Con was like what? Someone should look up Gen Con numbers.
Like 93 players.
I wonder if we can beat Gen Con.
I think you're
that
right
would be
there.
exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, currently we're, what is it, like 88 already? Like,
well,
the numbers.
We have 82 people signed up and 8 Kings. Well, we have 9 Kings, but
9 Kings, yeah.
Kyle signed up, so we are at 90 right now. Gen Con was 92. Insane. So that's exciting. I'm very excited for it. We're starting to get the prize support and stuff together. I think that, Olney had its charm the first year, and I think Wausau offers a lot of that charm with just one of the most, what people consider to be mysterious, but just one of the laziest but coolest metas around. It will be a lot of fun. So, the restricted list hit.
Chud's pretty lazy, right?
Chud, I don't know. Chud's been grinding some poker. Chud's been winning some dollar bills.
Yeah, we heard about that. He flies all the way to Memphis for a Grand Prix, and he's like, you know what? I don't need to sign up for this. Let's just play poker in a hotel room.
He forgot to sign up. He forgot to sign up. He played poker in his hotel room, and he won $1,000. All right, so I think we were there on Friday. Was it Thursday or Friday? No, it was Thursday. We were hanging out at the game store. People were getting in town, and like Schoenthal and all of them walk in, and they're like, new restricted list. So like everyone immediately gets out their phones. We start looking, and most of us in the room are very happy. Some of us are just negative Nancy's and look at only the negative side of it. But it could have just been trade routes, and I would have been unbelievably ecstatic. I think that fixes a lot of problems. I'm very, very excited with the restricted list. Yes, Greyjoy didn't get hard enough. I think the restricted list was made before the Greyjoy box. I'm going to be honest. I do, because I don't think nothing was touched. Drowned God Fanatic is a problem, and I think it should be restricted at some point. The Balon Drowned God Fanatic is really annoying, like super annoying. I don't like that at all. But for the most part, I mean, they're just letting. They're giving the Greyjoy boys their chance to reign supreme here. But I mean, Targ got hit. Targ or Martell got hit the hardest for sure.
Yeah, it was Targ for sure. I mean, all of the Targ decks are different now. All of them. I mean, probably all of the decks that got hit in some way or another. But the Targ deck specifically, like separating Marine from Hisdar is like at the level of separating Mace and Hightower. They're huge hits to Targ.
So I did not ever think about it like that until you and I were talking on the phone last night, and you mentioned that to me because I was like, well, I think these decks run Hisdar and these decks run Marine, and you were like, I don't think they can. Like, I think it's like Mace and Hightower. It's just too tough. And
it's really hard.
And like I will admit that I don't play Targaryen. It is the one house I don't play, so like I don't know that. Well, I mean, I play like Danny Voltron stuff, but like I don't play Hisdar and Marine. I've legitimately probably triggered Hisdar less than 10 times in my life, and that's a proud statement for me. But I guess I didn't think about it like that. But maybe it's like Mason Hightower. Maybe it just cripples them.
Yeah, I mean, the Hightower, or sorry, Hisdar is like specifically needs a lot more build around now, because you just run out of cards in Targ so quickly. I know, in a lot of the high profile games that I lost, I'd like go away complaining that I didn't see Marine, and that was what did it in for me, because you can dump your hand turn one. Like there's so much action economy, and you need a lot of draw. So
sure,
it could be coppers. Other draw plot, but
I mean, and like it just goes like the best Targ deck is just like traditional bird now, or is crossing still good, or what?
Yeah, probably. It's hard to know right now. I haven't played enough since last week whenever it got announced.
Yeah,
and I haven't built enough, but yeah, I think traditional burn is still going to be sweet. We'll see how.
The big question I have for Targ players, and this is the one like I haven't really wrapped my head around yet, and I don't know. So with traditional burn decks, like if we're going back to old school burn decks, are you still playing the 5-cost Danny over the 7-cost Danny, or are you going back to the 7-cost Danny?
I'm probably still playing 5, but
CT.
I don't play fucking burn decks. 5?
Yeah,
I don't know. Play burn either. I don't play Targ.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I play Targ, but I don't play burn decks. So
yeah, I'm really.
I just say 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the answer is 5 for me.
Okay.
Coppers.
You have to find your draw somewhere else.
Yeah.
I would stick Coppers, Marine.
But
go back to slave ports. You're gonna kill enough people.
Yeah.
I think burn needs flea bottom. I know that we disagree on this, but Flea Bottom is so good at a target. It's still like the most efficient card there.
Sure.
I don't see myself playing any Targ deck that Marine isn't my restricted card.
Really? Interesting.
100%.
I
also don't play Burn, so
yeah.
Huh.
I mean, my question of the Marine decks is
like
like, how do you get?
Go ahead.
Sorry. My question for the Marine decks is, how do you get enough money? Like, money was already a problem with Marine when you had his star and double trade routes, and that's not going to be the case anymore. And I
guess just don't get enabled. I mean, Targ doesn't have a money problem. Before Marine, it just had a card draw problem, and Marine fixed that.
Yeah.
His star was just like a
I think
bonus.
that I disagree with that. There's even when I was playing his star and trade routes, I very often like didn't have enough money to do things that I wanted, and Marine or things like that.
They still have this card called Kotho and Masande. They're fine. Those cards are fine.
Yeah,
they have a lot of bullshit cards that jump cards into play. They have this Aegon card that's pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
I think they'll be fine. I think out of the restricted list of the cards that actually got hit, Targ is the most fine.
So
I think Stark got hurt way worse.
Yeah, my first deck that I won a regional with was Targ Burn, and the Slay ports I think made the difference on the economy. So I would keep Marine just by that. But I get with the Flea Bomb what you're saying, because it really hurts inside when you have to marshal things out of Targ. Really does. When you're used to just throwing things down.
So my opinion on the Targ economy is that, like, when you won that regional, they had their 2-drop economy and no one else really did, right? And now everyone's economy is pretty well fine besides Barra's.
I think Barra's can be fine.
Barra's definitely can be fine. I'm just saying, like, I think no trade routes, like, Tyrell has the best economy again.
Yeah.
Like, and then after that, I think everyone's economy is pretty even because, like, Targ's not being able to play 75 dudes for $2, and you don't know what's happening.
I don't think anybody's economy is just flat out garbage at all.
I think the meta got balanced like really heavy here, and like I'm curious to see if like Greyjoy would just run away with stuff. I hope not. I think there are a lot of really good answers. There are a lot of really good answers for Greyjoy that Targ and Stark kept in check for a long time. Like, that I think might have a play here coming up. Like, I think Barra and Martell are good against Greyjoy.
Strip Club.
They are.
Strip Club dominates the Greyjoy.
Yeah, I mean, if you play 7 gold for a character and I take 1 or 2 of those icons, it's really tough to do something with. When you kneel a 7-cost character in Greyjoy with no stand, I mean, that's tough. Like,
everyone's afraid of Greyjoy, but I think if people realize that Bloody Flux and Barring the Gates are cards, and these cards get played, Greyjoy is not going to be the dominant force people think it is.
Also, I don't think a lot of Greyjoy players keep Iron Minds as their restricted card. I think they keep trade routes to be able to afford all 12 million 7-costers. Like,
I've built some Greyjoy decks this week, and I've definitely been torn between Minds and not Minds. I think there's an argument for Minds in some decks and not Minds in others, for sure.
Please go with trade routes. I would say please go with trade routes. So I can reset you quicker.
Please don't have saves.
Yeah, please do not have saves.
The less saves, the better.
I mean, I think that like all of this. I mean, like I also do think Stark got hit pretty hard.
I think Stark got hurt the worst.
I mean, I think like they've been so good for so long. Like I think people forget what Stark was like pre-Wyman.
It's just crossing decks. It's fucking crossing decks again. That's it. That's all it is.
I do think there's definitely room for a Stark Sea of Blood deck. Like a Stark King Rob Sea of Blood deck, I think is still very viable.
Yeah, all right, sure.
I mean, I mean, I think that
I think it's more
can take
fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I think it'll have really good matchups.
Yeah.
But it's probably less consistent than just like, well, I guess I'm playing all these rush cards again.
I mean, like with no burn out there, I think puppies took a huge uptick. Like if burn is a lot less prevalent, like I think puppies are very good.
Yeah. Vanquish the non-puppies. Vanquish the non-puppies, dog.
I'm just being honest. Like Greyjoy hates to see Besieged played across from them with puppies. Like they just cry. Like they cannot beat that shit. Oh, you have all 3 icons? Well, I guess you're coming into this challenge. Come here, Asher. Come here, Euron. But how bad do we think? Like, where's Martell at? Like, Martell Wolf is gone, or the Martell Wolf iteration that we had is gone. I mean, it had what 4 restricted cards?
Yeah, I think Martell's right back where it was before Desert Raider. So like, Desert Raider came out and they were over the top, and now they're just right back where they were before Desert Raider came out because they're not drawing as many cards, right? Basically, what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean,
Desert Raider is a stupid card, though.
Yeah, Desert Raider's still really good. Martell Wolf is probably still can be a thing. It's not as ridiculous as it was, 2 weeks ago, but
it's not winning like 6 store championships in one weekend anymore.
And is Martell Wars dead?
I don't think so.
So you just take away Dorn?
Yeah, I think that's probably fine.
You just have to play Secret Scheme and recur them, right?
Yeah, Sat's gone. Can't play Sat anymore.
Why can't you play Sat?
You can. You just have to play bad plots.
Don't you just play double? Don't you just play double calling or something?
I got double calling today.
Or Littlefinger's meddling, but you can't put out 7 cost.
No, you can't play meddling.
You can't play that.
Bone way. Yeah, you can't start playing that way with calling the banners. So that's what made it effective with trade routes. Got you old.
Yeah, I mean they're bringing it up in chat. Return to the Fields gives you plot phase gold too, and that card is good.
Yeah.
And Dorn's name is real dumb. Like there's I don't know.
Martell has options, it just has to evolve. It's fine. I think all the non-Martell Wolf decks are just as good as they were before. Shadows probably gets better.
It gets better.
I think Sea of Blood didn't get hit by the restricted list at all. So
Shadow's getting hit by. I mean, like no Dorn will. I mean, Dorn did just win people games sometimes. Like Dorn is a very good card. It's restricted for a reason.
Dorn was insane.
So like, I don't know. Martell Shadows is very good. It's very difficult to play and stuff, but I'm interested to see. So we think that. All right, so there is the draft this weekend. We have the Kings. So Greyjoy is the top house, right? Like it just has to go for the most money.
Yeah.
Like
Greyjoy should probably go for like fucking $40, $50. Like it should go for so much.
Do we? I mean, it's gonna break 30 for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not gonna see a house break $40, right?
Targ went for 35. Like
you think Greyjoy is better here than Targ was there?
I think that the difference is that Targ already had like a bunch of decks built. Like Greyjoy, like all the houses had a bunch of decks built pre-draft. You're gonna have to start from scratch, starting after you draft on Sunday. So you're getting extra value because there's already a lot of good Greyjoy decks that are still going to be around, and the power level of it's still really, really strong. So, I don't know. Maybe
$40.
I don't know. drafts get weird. I don't, like
Yeah, they do.
It could not, maybe I'm just completely off base here, but
CT, what do you
I
think?
wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, I think Greyjoy is going to be expensive, but
and while we're talking about it, if you guys want to talk about it in chat, let us know what you think. Like, I'm very interested.
I don't think that. I mean, we have some pretty reckless kings, but I don't think any of them are going to pay $40 for a house. But maybe not. Sam Bratz today said, "Can somebody help me budget my draft? I've got $50 for Greyjoy and $50 for Brad Eamon. Help me." So you never know. People are desperate, and I do think people more and more don't want to be on a shitty house. Like,
people don't want to be on a shitty house, and also like. I mean, like, I think there was a lot more depth and strategy to Buzz and Sid's draft and, like, what Trey did for them. But, like, if you're just from an outsider's perspective, you're like, oh, they took the best house and won. Like, they just paid what it took to get the best house, and they crushed. And, like, a lot of the decks were solved. Buzz's wasn't. Like, we didn't know Buzz's deck, but every other deck was pretty much solved. I think a lot of the Greyjoy decks are pretty close to being solved.
Don't you just think that this more corrects the bidding on houses to where the bad houses go under 10, Greyjoy goes over 20, and all the other ones stay in the mid to high teens, right?
Oh, no, I don't think there's any possible way Greyjoy does not hit 30. I was just shocked at some people saying 40. Greyjoy's hitting 30. Greyjoy's
if
hitting
the other
$30
houses are going for like 15, 17, 19, I can see Greyjoy going for like 28, 29, edging into 30.
I mean, you're the only king here.
Yeah.
This is just my suspicion.
I'm interested because
I think people will pay less for houses, but people are going to value the houses more.
Are you going to be allowed to pay less though? Because like the Bera thing is going to be really, really strong. Like if there's not a king going in with a plan for Bera, all the houses should be really inflated in price because whoever gets Bera needs everybody else to pay a lot for their house for them to have a chance.
I also just have this theory that if you're a king and you're looking at this list of 90 players that are going to be at this war is insanely stacked with good players. You need money on good players. There's not a lot of people here I would say are dollar players at this tournament. So like,
so doesn't that like work the other way though? Like if you get the best house, you're just gonna like randomly have this bunch of players because you like. People have to give you 10 players, so you're gonna get 10 players, and the pool is stacked, so it doesn't really matter which 10. You just get 10 really good players.
I'm saying that like in general, the overall costs of players and I think houses should be lower. So you would think they're going to be because they'll be less like dollar players.
The stronger the field, the more the house matters.
Sure. Probably.
I have no idea.
I think that's like one of the big things that happened with House Targ is that like at the end they were getting $1 and $2 players, but it didn't matter because those players were still really strong and they're on the best faction. So that's something that should happen.
I'm not saying that like one matters more than the other. I'm just saying that like people will look at the field of the things they still have to draft and who's left, and they will just be more restrained with their bidding. You won't just open like $12 on a top tier player right away because you have to be more cautious with this many good players and all these houses being the good houses being as good as they are.
Tom McKenzie, also anyone that put Lanny on houses they don't want to play made it pretty easy for me.
Hey, Lannister did pretty good, I hear, last weekend, so.
Lannister's good.
As good as they can.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see how everybody strategizes as it goes into this thing. I'm interested to see the Trey evaluation after the fact too. Whoever's got Trey on the payroll for this draft, like hit me up. I kind of want to see what you guys are planning.
Trey's gonna come to whatever house I'm on. No, someone needs to be talking to Trey right now. Whatever king needs to jump on that.
Is that not already happening? Like,
I don't know. I have no idea. Trey, can you tell us? Are you working with someone?
Should be huge. Yeah,
He has
I'm
no
super
idea about
interested.
Dollar tray.
All right. So, I'm not currently engaged. Chief is fucking it up. Someone needs to get on the train. Oh God. He was like the honorary Team Targ member. Like he helped them with all that stuff. All right, so let's run through the Kings. And CT, you don't have to speak, or you can. I don't mind either way. Let's run through the Kings here. We're going to talk a little bit about each King and just where we think them as players and as people, where we think they're going to go. Just see how accurate we are. So the biggest wild card of the entire thing for me is Sam Bratz. He is one of my good friends. I talk to him a lot. I have no idea what the fuck he's thinking or what he's doing.
Sam Bratz will spend the most amount of money for the best house, or he will take Barra for $1. He will do one of those two things. He's just going to take all the boss out,
right?
Right. So he'll take Barra
and
buy all the
Wausau
players that he wants for Wausau, or he'll try and take Greyjoy.
He
wants the best or the worst.
I definitely think that whoever goes in with a plan for Barra needs to raise the price on every other house, but.
Oh yeah.
Just because you go in with it, being
Whoever's
okay with
taking
it.
Barra probably already knows their team, their decks. They better know everything. Everything.
They've got to have a really good plan going in for sure. Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, I think that Sam's probably easier to nail down than most. He's just gonna take Wausau and it'll be a good time on that team.
Yeah. That'll be the
everybody who submits after this, put down that you're from Wausau, so I might draft you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm very excited to see Trey. Your plan going in should be about avoiding Barra.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's ridiculous that somebody has a really good plan for the agendas and what they should look like going in, but.
Step one, take
has
Barra.
to be that person. So
step 2, drink. Step 3, see step 2.
Yeah. It'll be really telling when we get to
that
the
was
final
my
two
plan
houses.
for Team Barra last year.
They were way better spot than the others year.
Yes, we were just bad.
Well, I mean, I don't think that they were in a good spot. They just weren't what they are now.
Rip.
Dragonstone Castle.
Oh
Rip.
God.
Hey, is that a Rob on your board? I'll do a military.
All right. Okay, so up next, he's on the cast. We can go ahead and do CT. I'm interested. Groth, you're his best friend. You're not even coming. What's CT doing? What's he thinking?
He's thinking in a low place. He's thinking Bear for $1, and I keep telling him, you gotta get the best house. The kid proved Night's Watch. He's proved Land. He's proved Stark. I don't know what else he's got to prove, Jesse. I have no clue.
I like making shitty houses get third at Thrones War. It's like my thing. My thing, dude.
I had no way. Here's the thing. I have to listen to his miserable ass every time he's on a bad team.
Exactly.
There is no way he's not paying for a house. No way. He wants to
I paid
have a
$5
chance to
for
win
Stark last year.
I don't.
What are you talking about?
I think
Anybody-
he wants a house this year.
Anybody who's at Ale House on Friday night knows that CT probably would be on the bad team again.
The kid's not.
I'll take Laney again, dog. Run it back. It was such a good time the first time. Run that shit.
Who? Oh, someone's coming. Hi, I'm Bolt Humber of the
Friday
Wausau.
night was miserable.
I'm just saying, I haven't got to play
miserable
orange cards
doing
at a
better
war
than
event in a long time.
Yeah. I think that would probably be a safe bet. CT going for orange cards.
Sure.
I miss my orange cards. Dorn or not, I miss the fuckers.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone at the Airbnb Thursday and Friday were there for the Fall of the Madness. We all thought CT was going to spike off the top. We thought it was over. He could not decide what he wanted to play. He was miserable. I kept just being like, Klansman.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure the brewery brought in a net to catch him, just in case he went over the banister. Pretty sure.
I almost went full Tommen like half a dozen times, dog.
Yeah.
That was a long drive.
That the down.
I think CT's gonna go for a top 3 house, but not Greyjoy. What
are the top 3 houses again?
I was just about to say what he believes are the top 3 houses, but not Greyjoy, because I don't know.
What do I believe are the top 3 houses?
I don't know.
That aren't Greyjoy.
I have no idea. I think I could see you going after Martell, Night's Watch, or Targ.
He's probably not going to play Targ.
Played it at Worlds.
Yeah, when I had 5 restricted cards.
You take Martell and draft John Peters. Wasa will pay you.
Nick tried to convince us to do that.
I like dollars.
Yes. We all want, like, listen, if anyone is considering what they want to give me for my birthday, draft Martell and draft John Peters. It would mean the world to me, honestly. It would mean the world to Wasa.
You just gave me the easiest birthday idea ever.
So yeah, all right. So that's CT. Let's move on. Let's move on to Tom. He's in the chat. Do we think Tom's just gonna go back to Lannister?
No.
No.
Look at him. He's already look at this shit. He's already trying to flex on Martell against me. See this?
I think Tom's gonna pay for a house.
Oh yeah, Tom will pay for a house.
Tom's bidding up.
It's Greyjoy or Lanny for Tom, I think.
Yeah.
Or
you don't
Targ?
think he would go back
the
to
house
Targ?
he plays more than like anything?
Or Targ, that's fair, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Martell,
which
which he's had success with in the past.
I don't know. I think he's paying for Greyjoy.
That's it.
I think it's a 3-way race to the sea here. I think it's Tom McKenzie. I think it's Jordan Davis, and I think it's Chris Schoenthal.
Isn't Schoenthal sick to death of Greyjoy?
Yeah. You think Schoenthal like played?
I think he was a little sick, and then he played Barra, and now I think he wants to win.
You didn't know how good he had it. You were saying? Okay,
that's the right.
I mean, it's safe to assume at least half the kings are going to fight for Greyjoy, if it's the best house, right? So
maybe.
I mean, that's not unreasonable to think that like 4 people are gunning for it.
Yeah. I think those are my 3 that I'm picking. I think just like being hang on, maybe not. So like I always thought being from a coast, I always pick 2 coastal kings. I always thought like being the coastal kings, you would want a better house just because you don't know the player pool as well. But for Schoenthal, there is a large contingent coming from California. Like you could build a Cali team legitimately.
For sure. There's more than 10, yeah.
And the East Coast has started to put in some names today. The East Coast could put some people on it too. Like, I'm very curious. Oh, we just got another one. Mark Kramer, just breaking news. I'm signing up. There we go. Oh, that's super exciting. So we're tied with Gen Con.
If you say Greyjoy in the mirror 3 times, Mark Kramer appears behind you. So that's to be expected. We said Greyjoy a lot of times.
So yeah, that's really cool. I can't. This episode was literally brought up today, and we're just talking about war stuff. That's how popular these formats are. We have probably the most viewers we've ever had. This is exciting. I'm glad everyone's here with us. Jasmine Villian had it at 90. 91 tops Gen Con. That is exciting. Biggest tournament in the Midwest.
That's insane.
Wausau, Wisconsin.
That's way better than last year when their circuit event had 4 players.
They did have 4 players.
Nobody wanted to play team nonsense decks.
Team nonsense. Ooh.
You've done
said
Wassail
even-
proud this next year.
All right,
Yeah.
so we talked about Tom a little bit. I mean, Buzz did also bring up a good point that he also has access to, like, he's been playing Targ for a month. He is the type of player who likes to play the same deck he's been playing because he's seen success with it. Even though it's like the restricted list got ate up, like he has access to all those people.
Yeah, I saw those lists. They were all red on Thrones DB. Yeah,
All I know is
congratulate
Tom was
Buzz.
real salty he wasn't on Lannister, so I think he's got something to prove with red cards. And I think there's only one other person that would try and fight him on red cards. One half of a king, or however you want to look at it, I think would fight him on red cards.
That's fair. All right, so I know we talked about Schoenthal a little bit. So Schoenthal has the most experience in these style formats. He's an OG to be sent. So I'm trying to think. So Schoenthal as a king, what is his MO been as a king? Has he drafted good houses, bad houses? Alejandro, do you know?
On the spot, he drafted Lannister in 20.
Right?
He drafted Lannister in 2016.
He was
2017.
Greyjoy after that, right?
2017.
Or he was Lannister and then Stark. That's right. He was
No.
Stark the first year I went to war.
Yeah. He drafted Stark.
Okay.
That's
Oh
Roy-
yeah. Stark. Yeah, he played Stark Knight. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
And
Stark
then
2017,
Greyjoy the year after
2016. Yep.
that.
So was Stark good? Okay, so he's always
think he was a-
drafted a top house, right?
I don't think that Stark was.
Stark
that good.
wasn't good. Stark
Yeah,
wasn't good, man.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I think the Greyjoy and
Greyjoy
Lannister
wasn't
was-
good
they were
either.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. I thought
Yeah,
that was still.
I think he's
It was just
hungry for
Laney.
game.
Yeah, it was just Laney. It was the only good house for him.
I mean, Greyjoy was good. I mean, Greyjoy's always been okay.
Was it?
Greyjoy was good at Jesse's last year.
I'm just being
I
honest.
mean-
Like, has
I mean,
Greyjoy?
Greyjoy
Last year.
won the individual tournament that year, so they were probably okay.
I'm being honest. Hang on. Quick step back here. Has Greyjoy ever been a bottom 4 house? I don't think it has since I started playing the game. Now, I didn't play pre-Valor. Valor was my first pack, so that changed a lot of things. But like, has Greyjoy not ever been a top 4 house? Have they been the most consistent across the history of the game?
Probably like that half end of the first cycle. They just didn't get played a lot because
Yeah.
they weren't like bad. They weren't Martell fucking bad at the end of the first cycle. That's for sure. They
Oh
weren't
yeah,
Night's
they had
Watch bad.
Seastone. Yeah, and they had their plot. They were really good right off
Yeah.
the bat.
They got the Seastone out the gate, so like they were in pretty good
Yeah.
shape.
And then the Two Clan plot was right off the bat. They were like winning store championships and regionals right then and there. But after that, though, they got what, newly made Lord, bunch of power icons.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they started out fine, and then they didn't get cards like the fucking bird rookery fucking location. So it's like they were fine, you know.
Yeah. They didn't get Night's Watch cards for sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So we can move on to Colt Humbert.
He
who
takes Tyrell because he gets it for like $3 because nobody else will want it.
I do think Colt will go after Martell or Tyrell. Those are traditionally his houses.
He
but
knows
I
no
think
other houses.
Tyrell Wolf.
But I think he feels comfortable. I think he would feel comfortable with almost anything except Greyjoy. He would not play Greyjoy. I don't even think he'll bet on Greyjoy.
And all the people who want Greyjoy were unanimously singing. I hope he just aggressively bids on Greyjoy after we're just like locked into these two houses. I hope Colt's just like nut flop Greyjoy $30. Go.
And then like he doesn't play good Greyjoy decks. He'll play like Greyjoy, Cohort, Banner of the Sun. And we'll be like, what does this do? And it'll just like crush us. So I'm really interested to see, like, I've been on a war team with Colt, and you know, I built with Colt a little bit, and like Colt is such an interesting and innovative builder.
Hey Jesse, real quick, Greyjoy 2017 was 6th, so it's been in the bottom.
Sure.
Yeah,
it finished 6th, or because the individual winner came out of Greyjoy. I think that's.
Yeah. No, that year was Kevin Shannon Baratheon. He was Baratheon. Kevin Shannon went to the. He was Greyjoy last year, and he went to the end.
Yep. So yeah, I'm very interested in that. So, Co-Kings, Evan and Ryan, 2 different personalities.
Putting them on Lannister, Targ, or Greyjoy.
And anyone who doesn't know, like, so how, if you didn't go to Thrones War when they had Co-Kings, so they will start with a slot down, and they will start with $10 less, and that's how that works. But they, so their draft strategy will be a little bit different, but they already have a locked-in Co-King, locked-in partner, and locked-in, really solid player. They're both really solid, for sure. So, I'm very excited to see how Co-Kings do. Where did Michelle and Justin finish that year?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You remember they had Tyrell, right?
They did,
Tyrell or Lanny, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
They had Tyrell. So,
Last year?
Yep.
They had 46 wins is what it looks like, total wins. Let me see where that placed at. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people did better.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, 46 total wins is what it says for a team.
I'm very interested to see how the Co-King thing works out for these guys. Obviously, they're very close. They're from the same meta. They work together. And it's also just cool because they don't get to play in anything above a store championship. Like, this is awesome for them. Like, I am so excited that they decided to do it. You know, I was going to make one of them a king, and then they were like, "Oh, can we be Co-Kings?" And I was all aboard. I do think
that's a great idea.
I think that they're going to be swagged out. I think that Ryan will make sure that team looks good in whatever capacity. I think it will be very exciting. But I know Ryan is traditionally a Lannister guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, anytime Ryan's ever talked to me about a deck, it's
hardcore loyalist. Yeah.
Like Lanny guy. And then Evan, he's just a brewer, right? Like,
yeah. He plays a lot of different stuff.
I know he likes Martell. He likes Greyjoy. I mean, he'll play anything. So I'm curious if they think they can make Lanny work and just go towards Ryan's thing, or do you think they'll just go for value? Do you think they discussed it? Do you just think they're going to roll?
They're going to try and draft a lot of Minnesota players.
There are a lot of Minnesota players going. I mean, Minnesota and Wausau is pretty close. Just in terms of like metas, we talk a lot between us.
Will we see Cameron not play a Stark deck for the first time ever? That's breaking news.
I wouldn't bet on that, but
probably. Yeah,
probably. Whoever drafts Stark should draft Cameron. So, he's very good with them. So, is that no? Do we still have 1 or 2 more? Or is that it?
No, I don't think that's it.
Storm?
Base.
Did we already say Storm?
Everybody a little bit.
Yeah.
Storm? Storm's not a king.
Storm is the king of
I
nothing.
thought he was. My bad. So it's just Cole.
Who does it?
My bad. That was both.
Have we talked about Kyle yet?
We didn't talk about Jordan that much. We just kind of said like, oh, he'll probably play Greyjoy, and then we didn't kind of really say anything.
Yeah, he's gonna draft all the new DC guys that are coming. Which I don't know that there's that
I think
many.
it's just
right?
Martin.
Maybe
it's
just him and Martin. Okay.
Martin, and then I think he'll go after Platt.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think he'll go after Platt. And I think he will go after a good house. So, yeah, that's exciting. I do think, moving on to Kyle. Kyle's an interesting one because he's been a good player for a really long time. And he's an old 1.0 guy. And I think a lot of Kyle's loyalties will lie with 1.0 guys. Like I would say like 80 to 90% of the players on Kyle's team will be 1.0 players. I believe that. I think
that's interesting.
I think that for sure. I mean,
could he make that? Does that even work? Like,
oh yeah. I mean, like all the teammate boys know like Will and Kyle and them. They're all old school 1.0 players. Okay. Emberly's a 1.0 player. Glazer, Roy, 1.0 players. Tommy Pliss is a 1.0 player. Like, some of the Quincy boys are coming up. Like, I mean, I think he's gonna stay as close to what he knows. Yeah, I mean, he's close with some of those guys.
Is Kyle gonna shoot for Lannister? It's one of his faves, right?
I don't know. I think Kyle's gonna just shoot for value. I think Kyle's a spreadsheet guy. I think he's just got broken down values. I think he really wants to.
So he doesn't want Lannister.
I don't know. I think he just wants to do well. So I'm just like, I'm pegging him to feel comfortable with a lot of the 1.0 guys he's known for a long time.
That's super interesting. I'm excited for all this. I don't know what I would expect from Kyle as far as a house. I just haven't interacted with him enough, I guess.
Lannister or one of the top houses, I think. He likes Stark a lot too, or at least he did. He played a lot of Stark in 1.0. I don't know if he still likes Stark. It seems like he does.
I think he just likes good cards, right? Like,
don't we all? But it's gotta go. It's gotta go beyond that.
Who out of this list do you think is most likely to be okay with Barra?
Brats.
I don't want to answer that.
Brats are Colt. Like, Brats are Colt for sure.
I don't think Colt wants Barra.
I mean, I think either one of them would be fine with that.
I think Sam's the only one who'd be willing to take it.
I don't know, man. I
don't know. If you tell me who my teammates are, then I'll think about Barra. But that team has to be pretty flexible.
I think that I think those are the only two options for people who are willing to take Barra. And CT doesn't think Colt is. I think oh my God. It's just never mind. I can't handle this chat right now. Calling it the King of Dress Bear.
Dirty Mike and the boys.
Yeah, Dirty Mike and the boys here. No, I think either one of them would be completely fine with taking Bear.
That's interesting from a strategy point. It's hard for me to quantify somebody being okay with that while Bear just had the results that it's had.
I mean,
across the last 4 war tournaments.
I experienced it. I was Bear King once. I experienced it last week, and if I was a king, I would be taking Barra in a heartbeat. Like, I don't even care. I love them so much.
That's the way you draft, though.
There's a certain part of me that's like, the restricted list helped them so much, guys. They're going to be fine. They're just fine. Like, But
the Barra problem is solved simply by the king, who most is the pickiest about which players they get. They'll have to take Barra for $1 if they want all the players they want. And to me, that says brats. I think he wants the players. The house is secondary to him.
Sure.
I don't see anybody else willing to take Barra.
I don't think you are. I don't think Tom is. I don't think Jordan is. I don't think Schoenthal is not going to come close to it. Hell no.
Hell no. We just keep shitting on, and the more we shit on Barra, the more Sam is gonna want to do well with Barra. So if we just keep saying how shitty they are, we can lock it in.
Tom Malucci coming out of nowhere. I'll take Barra.
Sweet. So we're taking Barra out of War and just gone. Nobody has to be Barra.
We had a metamate give a new player Barra for our SE. That guy ain't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, you either have to be really confident or very okay with not doing well at the tournament, which is, I think it'd be hard for any of these guys to.
Since the draft hasn't happened yet, can we propose removing Barra and just making free folk the 8th house?
No.
That sounds
I won't. No, just awful.
We just have 7 houses then? Otherwise, 10, 11, 12 people, we're not going to have a good time. Or maybe they will. Maybe they'll be too drunk to care. Who knows?
All right. Hot takes. Top 3 houses value after Greyjoy. Who's going for the most? So, like, we're rounding up the top 4, but all our number 1 answers are Greyjoy. We'll finish it up with this. So 2, 3, and 4. Who's going? CT, you're up.
Stark, Targ, and I don't know. People still bid stupidly on Night's Watch, so probably Night's Watch.
It's hard to know without knowing the order that they go in, because one of these is going to be the.
So it's just where we think the value should be at, right?
Okay, so it's not like whichever one is up last with Barra, because they're going to artificially
one of those is going to be yes.
Okay.
Right,
Stark and Targ are below Greyjoy, and then everything else is below that. I mean,
okay.
You don't have a 4th.
As far as like range, within like $5 probably.
Sure. Okay. Alejandro.
Targ makes a lot of sense to me, but maybe that's just a bias thing. Stark makes some sense, but they did lose a lot.
God damn.
I mean, there will be no fat cats at Jesse's birthday, right?
Yes, there will.
I'm sorry to those people.
It was the only Stark deck that made the cut.
Because it's the only fucking deck you played.
The deck is good.
Yeah, 1 out of 9 ain't
Throw
bad.
10 Stark fat cats at the fucking wall.
Yep.
One of them will stick.
One stuck.
I was fine
1 out of
with
9 ain't bad, baby.
It's hard to answer.
Do you want us to come back to you? Groth seems like he's chomping at the bit. Where we going, Groth? You gotta say something.
I'll go.
Shit.
After trashing Stark, I can't say Stark. So Targ, Martell, and Night's Watch.
All right.
I think that's a pretty hot take, thinking that Stark won't go for as much as Martell and Night's Watch. I still think people like Stark a lot.
The issue with Martell is, like, I think it's going to be really tough post-restricted list to come up with 5 Martell builds.
Right.
Let's go back to Martell.
I'll be blatantly honest. The only thing that's making me not pay anything for Martell is I only have 2 decks right now. Like, I only have 2 decks I'm comfortable putting in the hands of 4 out of 10 players. And those players have to be high skill pilots. So it's like coming up with at least 3 more good decks is going to be not super easy.
Fuck, does left and right exist? I know a Martell deck, buddy.
Martell Road, baby. Strip Club, Shadows. You're good.
I will say personally, I want to
left
play
and right
Martell.
feel pretty good when none of your opponents can play V-Blade. I will say that.
Also, like when you only have to play burn once, left and right's real
Yep.
good, dog.
Not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's going to take a lot of thinking because they lost like 2 decks basically.
I will say
Yeah.
that I
guard. Just pick guard.
I think
Eric
I think
Rock your
after-
fucking guards. I swear. Are you gonna vanquish and just be like guard, left, right, 2
Guard.
fucking
Just
palace
all the
idiots?
guards and
Fucking palace everywhere. Left, right, baby.
vanquish the non-guards.
Get on
Yeah.
this. That's you get on this. Guard.
I think the top 4 values will be Targ for sure, Stark for sure, and Night's Watch.
Yeah. Target and Stark make a lot of sense. Wyman is so good, even without Flea Bottom.
Yes, he's still just very good.
Night's Watch makes sense just because they kind of are always like looked at as that house for war style events. And last one's probably Martel. They also play on that second axis. Although Tyrell probably got a big bump from everybody else going down. So that's interesting to me.
That's fair.
It seems reasonable.
All right, so now CT. I mean, CT can stay. He doesn't talk in this part, but what do you want to play,
There's
Alejandro?
no part CT doesn't.
What do you want to play, Alejandro?
I mean, let's be honest. I want to play Targ, but
Okay.
I can definitely find a deck in every faction. So that's.
All right, so Alejandro
Barra?
and I
All right, what's your Barra
and
deck,
I are not
dog?
on the same team again.
I'll figure it out. I don't know. I don't
His
know right
Barra
now.
deck is-
But give me
His
4
his Barra
fucking weeks,
deck
and I'll
is-
probably just.
Yeah,
His Barra deck is whatever I send him, dog.
Barra
He's
Dragon.
sick.
I'll get there.
It's
Bear Dragon.
Barra Dragon. You can play his Dar.
All right, Groff.
All those
Oh,
kings.
you're not coming, but post restricted this. What would you want to play?
Martel.
I'll play Martel again, easily.
Ooh, Groff.
Yeah.
Thanks for not coming, prick.
Second choice or no?
I'm pulling a Sam Bros. I'm gonna come like the last second, and then you have
Are
to
you?
instill me on CPC.
Are you? Don't you tease me, Aaron Groff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think there are just like 4 houses I really want to play. Like I'm chomping at the bit to play post restricted list, and there are 4 houses I really don't want to play post restricted list. So like I don't want to play Stark again. I don't want to play Targ ever. I don't want to play Night's Watch unless I can just play Cohort. Like I just want to play Jontron. I don't want to play Builders or anything like that. And I don't necessarily want to play Greyjoy unless they're completely fine with me taking a war slot for Drowned God. If they're fine with that, then I'm fine.
Sounds like you're gonna be
God,
on that sweet Barra
son.
team, dog.
Better be running Banner Stone.
But I'm always fine with Barra. Like, always fine with Barra. I'll find some Barra brews I like. I really want to play Martel, like, super bad. Like Martel is the number one. Like, Martel and Tyrell are both, like, 1 and 2. Like, I really want to play them. Very
I'm not
badly.
paying $29 for you.
No one is worth $29, let alone me. I think that was proven.
I'm not paying $19 for you.
Are you the only one that made the cut for him though?
For Stark?
He's the only Stark player. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
We had some
$9.
we had some players that we got really good value out of. They went 4 and 3. There's a newer player named Ryan Fix out of the LA area. He went 4 and 3. He put a lot of time into it. Mark Buss went 4 and 3. But we really struggled with I think the top decks. So really thinking about it through this episode, and like I've been like looking at a couple things. I think one of our biggest struggles was the top players in the tournament definitely knew what to expect with Fat Cat, and we talked about that earlier. But our top players having to play them, and possibly not having the correct amount of reps with it really hurt. I mean, if you think about it, like starting in round 2, I played the top seed for every house. That's rough, and I did.
Yeah.
I feel like that's rough. And it's not like I was undefeated. You know, I was 5-2. Like it was tough. So I mean, but I'm really excited to see what happens. I'll be super happy to play for whoever drafts me. Like I said, this is like my absolute favorite style event. I love building with different people that I don't normally build with, and just brewing and like seeing what people come up with. Like this year at Thrones War, just like a few different ideas, like the Keith deck from Martell was super interesting.
Dude, shout out to Keith. He's super new, and he went 4-3 with Martell Alliance.
First guy at the Airbnb to crack open a PBR with me. Winner in my book. Winner in my book.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I liked him. Tyrell, Neil's deck was super interesting. I played against Neil's deck. It was just like I know he was searching for Randall, but he was like Voltroning the fun Night of Flowers, and like I was about that life. Like I dug it.
Sealed Blood Song stack was super interesting.
Yes, yeah, I really, really like Tyrell and Song stuff. Lannister deck, I'm always intrigued by the Patch Face deck. I just think that deck is super cool. Like I just think that deck is sweet. It just blows people out with like Marcella and like Pycelle and stuff. Like that deck is fucking. And if you get the Patch Face off, it's just like the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Patch Face Voltron.
I don't like builders, but Johnny's builders deck was insanely cool. Like I had not seen a plot line like that. It really blew me away. I thought it was really cool. Buzz's Targ deck interested me a lot, just for the fact that like they went against the grain. He didn't play his Dar Marine. He went like to a traditional style, and it was just good. It was really good. I'm trying to think of the other houses.
You know what my favorite deck was I worked on for this whole war?
What?
The Tyrell deck I gave Jess. That was my favorite deck. I had more fun building one Tyrell deck than like 6 Lannister decks.
I think the coolest deck that I saw leading up to war was Nick Hansen's Martell Shadows, that I just like saw him play a lot and got to play against and stuff. Like that deck was just super fun. And then like Nick shows up on Friday night and he's just like, I'm like, all right, so what changes did you make? And he was like, put in 3x mag and 3x jacket. And I was like, I'm sold. I'm in. So I just want to thank everyone again for Thrones War. That was really cool. Really fun event. I'm so excited I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I'm so excited. If you can, Sunday at 2:00, the lineup has changed. So Alex Black can no longer do it, which is super upsetting. But Alejandro's doing it. So the commentary at 2:00, Alejandro's doing it. Much to his chagrin, I finally weaseled my way out of it. I am not doing it.
For sure. He just today he's like, all right, new team. Like, what? No, we talked about this.
Colin Weir is doing it. And so we should be just getting some lovely rules handed down to us. I'm sure they'll spend a solid 10 minutes on the new Arbor setup. And then we have Roy Rogers. So, and I think there's some side commentary going on. Not like competing, just different takes and stuff from like Jess and Trey and stuff, which should be super cool as well. More people talk about Thrones.
I can't wait to hear both of them judge everything every king does. They're going to be the two most judgmental people commentating for sure.
I hope not.
Trey's got the numbers. Jess has the sass. So.
Our stream is going to be very positive because it's a positive thing.
I didn't say not positive. I just said edgy. There'll be some hard edges to those comments.
I hope not. But all right, so cool. yeah, thank you all for joining us. Sunday, 2 o'clock Central, right here on Twitch TV. Just Sweet Buzz. Please join us. It should be a blast. I'm going to be at a viewing party with the Wausau boys, so I will know all about. I'll be around. I'll be talking. It'll be super fun. Thanks everyone for joining us. I believe this is the most viewers we've had live. And join us next time on The Worst to Come.